Tonight marks the last start for Kendall Graveman at home this season. 2016 has been a breakout year for Kendall. There was much improvement on the mound for the 25-year-old. His double-digit win total leads the team, and at one point, Graveman won 6 consecutive decisions. The future is bright for Graveman, and he will be an anchor in the A's starting rotation going forward. Tonight, Kendall will look to slow down a Texas Rangers team on the verge of an AL West title. Last home series of the year, A's Rangers next. Indeed it is, the final weekend of baseball here at the Coliseum. Kendall Graveman will get the start tonight. It's the first of 3 with the first place Texas Rangers in town. A's Rangers coming up on CSN California. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. 30th start of the year for Kendall Graveman. And Ray, when this season comes to an end a week from Sunday, I think Kendall Graveman's going to look back and be very happy because he really turned his season around mid-May.
You know, the biggest thing, Kuiper, if you take them out every 5th day, which Kendall Graveman has been able to do, you could have the numbers that he has put up right now. In last 20 starts, he's been outstanding. He's won 9 ball games. Look what he did at the beginning of the season. He won just 1 game. Last year, around that time at the beginning, he was sent back to AAA. He came back. That was not the case this year. He's pitched great baseball, ground ball pitcher, as we continually talk about. If he continues to do that tonight against this Rangers ball club, it should be a fun night for him.
Champagne is on ice for the Texas Rangers. Real simple. If they win tonight, they win the division. And, Ray, they're also fighting for the best record in the American League. And then if they get that, they'll have home field advantage throughout the postseason.
Well, you look at all the great numbers for the Rangers this year, and we've talked about their experience in the pitching staff, their veterans on the bases. Actually, Adrian Beltre, one of the best leaders on this ball club. But the biggest thing, you look at all those numbers, all those statements, there's one thing they have going for them. It's a lot of confidence. They believe that no matter where they are in any ball game, they can come from behind. Look how many times they came back in ball games this year. The A's have seen it in Arlington. They know what they can do, but I think the confidence for the Rangers right now is very high.
And they also have an ace in Cole Hamels, and he will pitch tonight, looking for his 15th win of the year. So it's a good pitching matchup. Cole Hamels and Kendall Graveman in Game 1 of this 3-game series. We'll have lineups at first pitch when we come back to the Coliseum to get you set for the Oakland A's and the Texas Rangers.
on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by America's Tire. Your low-price journey starts here.
Stephen Vogt and the Athletics are set to go after an off day yesterday as the Texas Rangers are in town. Final 3 home games of the season for the A's this weekend. Game time weather tonight is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open this weekend. 68 degrees. It's a nice night. And a little bit earlier start. Fireworks after the game. So a half-hour earlier start. So it should be a nice crowd tonight. Authentic Fan Friday. So a busy night here at the Coliseum. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Texas Rangers. Carlos Gomez will lead off in left, Ian Desmond then in center, then Beltran and Beltre. 2 terrific players, possible Hall of Famers. Odor, Lucroy, Moreland, Mazzara, and Andrus. That is the Texas Rangers starting lineup.
And for the final time this season, last time we're going to hear Sweet Home Alabama as Kendall Graveman taking the mound tonight for the 30th time, his 30th start, and like to pick up a couple more wins. He will have tonight's start and one more for this end of the season, but his last one at home and rematch from last weekend in Texas between these 2 pitchers tonight, Kendall Graveman and Cole Hamels.
So Graveman is ready. Carlos Gomez steps in, and we're set for baseball.
Talk fast. This guy's going to swing fast.
Yep,
he does not waste any time. Shocked when he takes a pitch.
And the first pitch is out of the strike zone, so we're underway. Graveman and Hamels squaring off, A's and the Rangers. 6:37 start time. Second pitch is looped into left center field, but Eibner tracks it down, 1 away. Defensively, the A's have Chris Davis back in there. That's good news. Eibner is in center. Smolinski is in right. Healy, Simeon, Pinder, and Valencia on the infield third and first, with Stephen Vogt doing the catching. So with 1 out, Ian Desmond steps in. Simple math for the Texas Rangers. They have a magic number of 1. So if they win the game tonight, they will be the division champs. They could also get in with losses by both the Astros and the Mariners. If that were to happen, then they would win the division no matter what happens in this game. But either way, they're sitting right where they want to be. Jerry Meals is calling balls and strikes. Chris Conroy's at first. Gabe Morales at second. Paul Nauert is at third. And an 0-2 pitch. Desmond swings and misses. 2 quick outs here in the first.
Well, we saw last weekend that Desmond was struggling a bit and continues tonight as Kendall Graveman nailed the outside corner. Good team seam fastball that starts outside, brings it back to the outside corner, and that's a pitch that is great. It could be a ball, but close enough for a strike, and Desmond swinging and missing.
Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. So with 2 outs, Carlos Beltran steps in. He takes a strike. First inning numbers for Kendall Graveman. He's good in that department. And it looks like he's going to have a good first inning here as the throw is low, but Valencia digs it out. So Simeon takes care of Beltran. And then that is indeed a 3-up, 3-down inning for Kendall Graveman. Here is the lineup tonight for the Oakland Athletics. Simeon at short, Eibner in center, Healy at third. Chris Davis back in the lineup. He's in left. Valencia at first, Vogt will catch. And then it's Smolinski, Nunez, and Pinder.
Cole Hamels, as he did against the Athletics last weekend, starting, looking for win number 15. Did not pick it up then, although the Rangers did win. But Cole Hamels, a tough start. 6 innings, gave up 6 runs. He walked 3. And that's not good. He's walked 5 in 2 starts against the A's this year.
Simeon liked what he saw in the first pitch, fouls it straight back. Hit high and foul, and it's a quick 0-2 from Cole Hamels. Hamels has been struggling as of late. Last 4 starts, an ERA of 10, which is extremely high for a pitcher of this quality. Cole Hamels.
You look at the 14 walks. That is not something that's going to endure him to postseason play, and he knows it's important to not walk batters.
So Beltre takes care of Marcus Simeon. 1 away here in the bottom of the first. Defensively for the Texas Rangers, a lineup like this with Gomez at left, Desmond in center, Mazar at right, Beltre, Andrus, Odor, Moreland on the infield, with Jonathan Lucroy, the catcher. So you figure, as we talked about on the pregame show, Jeff Bannister in his 2nd season. That's good luck. Manager always on the end.
Yeah.
But we talked about in the pregame show, as good as the Rangers are, come postseason time, they need Cole Hamels to be an ace.
That's right.
And generally he is, but he has not been pitching well. The numbers just showed up. So I think this start and maybe one more start next week, it's important for Cole Hamels.
Absolutely. I agree 100% as we take time now to look at the Nissan keys of the game. And for the A's, trying to remember the road trip, and had 3 very tough losses against the Houston Astros, and of course they were 6-1 on the just completed road trip. And you know, a lesson from these Rangers ball club, because one thing, so many rookies on the A's team, that if the Rangers do celebrate, the A's rookies get a chance to watch a pretty good team. It's going to win the division. It's just a matter of when. Of course, the A's would like to see that not happen here. Think of 2012 when it didn't. All they needed was 1 game. The A's swept the Rangers that season, but they're going to win the division. Just a matter when and where. And the 2 games that are going on back east that they're concerned about are in the Central Division or Central Time Zone, and which means that they're 2 hours ahead. They're going to know the results of those games before this one is completed.
And Ryan Healy rips one toward left center for a 2-out base hit. So that's the first hit in the game. It belongs to Ryan Healy. Hard hit ball up the middle.
And I think we're going to see from Ryan Healy, as next year he's going to be on the team to start the season. We're going to be seeing a lot of this, and he's been unbelievable. Moved up to the 3rd spot of the batting order tonight against a left-hander. But he has moved around, started at the bottom, but he is proving that what he has done the second half of the season has been phenomenal. And you could just look at a full season for him, and many seasons to come, he's going to be outstanding.
So here's Chris Davis. It's good to have Davis back, battling a little stomach bug. He missed Tuesday's game and Wednesday's game, and then an off day yesterday for the A's, so he's had 3 days off. Feeling better?
I hope he doesn't feel too strong, because he's already strong. But 3 days off maybe will allow that to happen.
Down the right field line, and it is just foul. Probably would have been a run.
Well, he hit, of course, 10 against the Rangers off his 40. This one coming against Cole Hamels, number 38, and it went well over the bullpen in right center. And that is a poke, especially from a right-hander. And he would hit a couple more to get to the magical number of 40.
So 1-1 the count to Davis. 10 homers, 24 RBIs in 15 games against the Rangers this year. The Rangers are tired of this guy.
Well, A.J. Hinch was happy when the Astros were in town that he had a little bit of a flu bug.
So Hamels ahead of Davis 1-2. Cole Hamels with that very good changeup. 32-year-old left-hander in his 10th year in the big leagues. Very good career record of 135 and 96. He's been a very good pitcher for a long time now.
Something that Lucroy likes to do. Fastballs inside. Tried that with Martin Perez when he had just been acquired, and then didn't work out, so he started pitching away because Perez could not get the ball in. Hamels, though, has a pretty good idea of pitching inside.
And he tried, made a pretty good pitch, but it's now 3-2. So most wins since 2006. Cole Hamels 7th. Verlander 1st. Got a big lead over Sabathia. Verlander pitching much better this year than he did last year, and he and his Tigers are getting hot at the right time. John Lester, Zach Greinke on the list. Fouled straight back. It's a major pennant race all over the board, and we're going to keep an eye on all these games because we're baseball fans. That's why.
It's a great time of the year.
It sure is. You wish your team was in it, but it's still fun to see what's going on, and the wild card has made it even more interesting, especially this year, and well, I guess both the American League and the National League. Runner goes on 3-2, and he missed inside.
Well, I think Cole Hamels pitched right there, just like he knows that Chris Davis had a great season against his Rangers team. From a 2-2 breaking ball and a 3-2 breaking ball. Really not even close. Pick your poison, and I think they realize that Chris Davis is pretty good.
So 2 on 2 out. Here's Danny Valencia. Valencia playing first base tonight. He was 2 for 10 in that series against the Astros. A's could not get anything going offensively in that series. They had a total of 8 runs and 13 hits in the 3 games. Now, they weren't completely shut out, but games were tight, close games. The last 12 home games not scoring a lot of runs. Of course, the road trip was a much different story. One 0 pitch to Valencia. That's a strike.
And this time the breaking ball back door. See the knuckle curve, and that's exactly what he threw. Sets up with that. See the knuckle curve. Of course, the fingernail into the baseball. See it right there on the seam with the index finger.
So Healy at second, Davis at first. Just missed outside. Hamels has been good on the road this year. A 2.57 ERA away from Arlington. At home 4.45, so almost a difference of 2 runs. Two-one pitch popped up. Shallow right. Mazzara hustling in. Now he settles underneath it. Now he has to go back, and the wind took that one a little bit, but he makes the catch. So the A's strand a pair, and we're scoreless after 1. free A's Stadium blanket with any new AAA membership. Visit a participating AAA branch today. Restrictions apply. Beautiful night in the Bay Area. No score, top of the second. The A's and the Rangers. First pitch to Beltre is down and away. So we mentioned the fact that there's all these great games going on with pennant race implications, but we should not forget about Vin Scully, his final 3 home games at Dodger Stadium. And I know it's really there's a huge pregame ceremony going on right now, but it's not just tonight. It's really kind of a weekend celebration for Vinny. Saying it's well deserved would be an understatement.
But I think too, Kite, the fact that he announced at the beginning of the season, so it's been kind of a year-long, kind of a swan song. You rarely hear about that with a broadcaster, but you're not talking about just any broadcaster when you say Vin Scully. 88 years young. And still going strong, and finally decided that's it. He will be coming up to the Bay Area next weekend with the Dodgers to play the Giants, and that will be it. Final home game this Sunday. Final game of his career broadcasting next weekend. He's not going to do any postseason. He's already announced that.
Up the middle, Simeon scoops it, throws to first, and that's out number 1. Speaking of pregame ceremonies, Stephen Vogt got some good hardware. On Wednesday, he received the Dave Stewart Community Award. Second consecutive year he has won that. And then it's his wife.
Alyssa expecting their 3rd child.
And then tonight he received his 3rd consecutive Catfish Hunter Award. So what all these awards are, they're all for great reasons. He's just a great guy.
That's right. Well, and this Catfish Hunter Award, it's voted on by his teammates, his peers, and
that's a big deal.
That's as special as anything. He does a lot of community, and of course we all believe in Stephen Vogt, but you know what he's done on the field, in the clubhouse. He's the true leader of this ball club. He is the leader, and it's a special night for him. And of course, he and his wife Alyssa, they have 2 children, and said their 3rd is going to be born on Clark's birthday. That's their young son, who's in St. Louis. Talk about a game face. He has
the cutest kid.
Oh yeah, his face, and Steve's father Randy said that Clark starts looking around and he puts the game face on. He's ready to play.
So there's the description of each one of the awards. Giving annually to an A's player in recognition of charitable contributions throughout Northern California, across the nation. And then, as Ray just mentioned, the Jim Catfish Hunter Award. And well, I mean, I think any player that wins those type of awards where they're very organizational oriented, it's very special. But I know how important it is to Stephen Vogt.
Well, I told him, I said, Stephen, Catfish would have been very proud to have you be the recipient of his award, because that man could pitch. 27, could pitch. And Stephen Vogt would love to have caught him, because all you had to do is just put the target up and he would hit it. That's how good Catfish Hunter was.
So you're saying he wouldn't have had to block as many balls in the dirt with Catfish?
No, and there would not have been any walks. He might have given up a few home runs, but there would not have been anybody on base when he did it. Now he could have sat outside about 6 inches and had a strike called.
That one's hit towards center, and it's hit well. Eibner's going back. Warning track, and he's got it. So Odor puts a pretty good charge into one, but to the big part of the ballpark. 2 outs.
Well, we showed in our open the 20 games, the last 20, the record for Kendall Graveman, but in his last 17, there have been 12 games in which he's had double figures in ground ball outs. So Stephen Vogt started about that time going down to 1 knee, trying to give a lower target for Kendall Graveman and all the pitchers, and especially the sinker ball pitchers. He would do it up to 2 strikes or with nobody on base, but it's for himself as well as the pitcher, and there's your low target, and it's worked wonders for Kendall Graveman. Stephen Vogt has continued. It's just something he thought about. I get down lower and I get down on 1 knee.
Right there, 0-2 to Jonathan Lucroy. Graveman has retired the first 5. Vogt sets up outside, and Graveman hit the target.
You know, it happened to Cole Hamels last year, and Jonathan Lucroy this year. You start looking at the standings and how many games he picked up in the standings, and for both, Hamels last year going to postseason, Lucroy this year with the Brewers, they were kind of rebuilding. Kind of intimated that, hey, I'll go someplace where and try to win. And he had a chance to go to Cleveland, opted not to, ended up with the Rangers, and either way, either club, he's going to end up in postseason. Kendall Graveman knows that this is a very good lineup that he's facing tonight with the Rangers, and trying to have success.
Lined into the glove of Valencia, side retired. 6 up, 6 down for Kendall Graveman. Bottom of the second coming up. It'll be Vogt, Smolinski, and Nunez. No score.
Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. There's a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. It is superheroes fireworks tonight, so thus those outfits tonight.
Stephen Vogt leading it off. He'll be followed by Smolinski and Nunez.
Stephen Vogt's goal this season was to start 100 games catching. Tonight is his 100th game catching. He's been in 108, but as far as a starter, this is number 100. He said, this has been my goal. That's a pretty good goal for a guy not too long ago was ready to hang him up. And so Stephen Vogt, recipient of the multiple awards, in addition to being the leader on this ball club, and tonight starting 100.
So 1-2 the count to Vogt. There it is. So next year his goal will be 125.
Yeah, 125. But he's very hard on himself, as offensively he knows he should have been putting up better numbers offensively, but that has not been the case. But he's still leader, and they're happy, and they believe in Stephen Vogt.
That was quite a dance she had going.
Look at this. How about that? Adrian Beltre.
That's good.
That's
Look
good. Wow. Well, I still think one of the highlights maybe this year was this young boy crying when he got the autograph of Mike Trout. And Adrian Beltre, nobody has more fun than he does. And he just showed it. Reaching over the tarp and getting the baseball. Making a fan forever. You have a leader like that on your club, you got a chance to do something special. And I was thinking about the Yankees and Derek Jeter. You go through Jeter, Cal Ripken Jr., the Orioles, but it's Adrian Beltre's team of the Texas Rangers.
Swing and a miss. Hard slider from Cole Hamels, and he gets his first strikeout.
Cap, you know as well as anybody as a pitcher, that's what you want to do. You do not want to throw it slowly and give a hitter a chance to make an adjustment. That's thrown hard. Stephen Vogt committed and might have been out of the strike zone. But at that point, he's committed to the point that he really had no chance. But he thought he's going to have a chance to do something with a pitch, but he could not.
Smolinski swings at the first pitch, pops it foul. Moreland over. Moreland, I don't know if he ever really saw it. It did not hit in the stands. It bounced into the stands, but he, I don't think he saw it because he would have kept going and probably had a play on it.
He just pointed to his eyes and said, I didn't see it. And it looked like somebody said something, and he said, you go try to find it.
Well, it's not daytime, and it's not quite dark yet, so it's that in between, which can be a little bit difficult at times.
Kind of the same color of the baseball when it goes up in the sky.
1-1 the count to Smolinski, hitting .246 with 7 homers, 27 RBIs. That one cued toward Hamels, who grabs it. That's the second out.
I didn't see it. Didn't see it.
Batting in the 8th position.
Another
designated hitter, number 22.
15-20 minutes, he'll be fine.
He said, then you go fine. Probably Beltre giving him some slack, but it's up there. But you're right. 20 minutes. It's going to be dark to the point that you don't have to worry about something like that.
So here's Renato Nunez. Nunez got his first big league hit a week ago tonight, and it was against Cole Hamels. Now he's looking for a few more. He's 1 for 11 on the season. Good pitch there by Hamels right at the knees.
We talked about Cole Hamels, Yu Darvish, the importance of those pitchers pitching well, especially going into the postseason. But I think Cole Hamels, because he has been there before, especially as a world champion, he knows the importance of this time.
Nunez rips one to left field for a base hit. That ball was up, and Nunez took advantage.
You're right, elevated, and he jumped on it, and being to the point that he could pull it. Uppercut swing with topspin on it. And last Friday against the same pitcher, Cole Hamels, up the middle, a couple of steps, clap, got my first hit with the baseball. So congratulations, as he's getting the opportunity to play. That was in Arlington, Texas.
Second baseman Joey Bendel.
So he now has 2. There's Chad Pinder, first pitch strike to Pinder, hitting .184, couple of RBIs.
Had a big RBI double, pinch hitting on Wednesday.
He's 7 for 38 on the year. After a fine season in AAA. Home runs for Nashville. Hamels tries to go inside again and misses.
Pitching inside for Hamels with his catcher Jonathan Lucroy. The key is the catcher to move off the plate inside, and that's what Lucroy does. And he'll keep using the fastball in until he can get the strike.
And then he throws the changeup. That's his pitch right there. It's a good one. Always has been.
Yeah, you're right, especially against right-handers. He'll throw it a lot because it comes out looking like a fastball, goes away typically from the right-handed hitters.
2-2 pitch, and that one's drilled toward right center field, and that's going to get down. Nunez rounds second. He's taking for third. Wash is waving him home. We're going to have a play. The throw to the plate on one bounce is there, and Nunez is out. So pretty darn good relay by the Texas Rangers, and they cut Renato Nunez down at home plate. So the A's do not score. But Rangers, nice job on the relay, and they throw out Renato Nunez at the plate by actually a fair amount. He never really had a chance. But you still have to execute defensively, and good relay into Odor. Odor with a nice one-hop throw to Lucroy, and fairly easy play for the catcher, if there is such a thing.
Probably the biggest thing that Mazzara, the right fielder, able to cut the ball off before it got to the wall. Which, again, you know, with 2 outs, you got to send them in. Nunez, ball headed towards right center. And there it is, getting to it there, and then to Odor. Odor catching, throwing, and one hop to his catcher, who had the ball in plenty of time to be able to go back to the plate. And if Nunez got to the plate, he was out.
Simeon grabs the line drive off the bat of Mitch Moreland. Watch Odor. This is the way to do it, Ray. He's actually moving toward home plate before he gets the ball, so he's got a little momentum. I mean, that's really the perfect way to do it.
He turned himself. You're right. Turn and ready to throw as soon as you catch the ball, and not catch, turn, and then throw. So all the same motion, and maybe the way Lucroy had the ball well in front of the plate, but he still hasn't caught his breath. It's a long way first to home.
But if Odor takes a step, he's probably safe.
If he has his back to the infield.
Feet.
Yeah, if he has his back, he's kind of turned to the side and then takes a pro hop and a perfect one hopper to his catcher. Yeah, let's go, let's go. Probably saying you got to go, and he said, I got all I got.
He almost had a flat tire, right? About halfway between third and home.
Well, David Ross, the 39-year-old catcher of the Cubs, did that, and he said he barely made it. Well, he looked a little better than Nunez, to be honest.
So 1-2 to Nomar Mazara, who made the initial play of cutting that ball off before it got to the wall. Mazara, 20 homers, 64 RBIs, very fine rookie season. Takes that one just a touch low.
Yeah, the way he started, thought he's going to have 50 or 60 home runs. He took off the blaze, but over the course of a season, teams, pitchers kind of figure out how to pitch certain players.
Yeah, he into tonight leads the All-American League rookies in hits, runs, and homers and RBIs. But he has cooled off the last couple months. was the Rookie of the Month in the American League in April and May. So that's the start he had.
Well, that showed right there. One of the things about the Rangers, they are aggressive. They will swing at pitches, and that pitch is out of the strike zone. It was ball 4, but maybe close enough. But he was aggressive going to swing, and we've seen Desmond, Odor, Beltre. I mean, their team in general will be very aggressive. Anything close to the plate, especially in a hitter's count, they're going to be swinging.
That one is belted to center. Eibner there, and he makes the catch. So a hard hit ball by Mazzara.
Odor hit a ball straight away center. Sounded great off his bat. Same with Mazzara, but you go that direction, you've got much better chance as a pitcher to get an out.
Batting in the 9th position,
regardless of the place that you're playing.
Elvis Andrus.
So here's Elvis Andrus. You talk about hitters that are aggressive. You know, everybody, loves the guy who is able to take pitches, but then when there's a pitch in the strike zone, be aggressive, right? That's great. Yeah. But those guys are MVP candidates.
Exactly.
I mean, there's just not that many of those. Trout's like that. Donaldson's like that.
Cap, the key we've talked about, be prepared to hit as soon as the ball is on its way. And you can always stop your swing and make an adjustment, but if you're aggressive and waiting to swing with the intention of swinging at every pitch, then you're going to be able to attack the ball.
And attack the ball is probably the best way. I mean, look at Jose Altuve. Yeah. He's not a patient hitter, but he attacks it,
yes,
and he's an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
On the ground towards second. Ball takes a nice big hop for Chad Pinder. And that's 9 up, 9 down for Kendall Graveman to start the ball game. And we're headed to the bottom of the 3rd.
Teamed up to give first through 8th grade students the chance to earn 2 free tickets to a game with the A's Athletics Workbook program, which engages students to solve baseball-related questions. For more information on this unique educational program, visit athletics.com/athletics.
Bottom of the 3rd as Marcus Semien leads things off. He's had a couple of runners on with 2 outs in the 1st. Did not score, and then they had a runner thrown out at the plate in the 2nd. So they've had a couple of opportunities, but nothing yet against Cole Hamels. Semien grounded out to 3rd, opening up the bottom of the 1st.
Marcus Semien could be saying, "Hey, Wash, why'd you send Nunez when I was coming up?" Well, it's tough to get two out hits back to back, and of course, as a third base coach, you have to pick your times, realize that 2 outs and ball in the gap. It's going to take a couple of perfect throws, and the Rangers having to execute by doing that. Washington been around long enough to know that 2-out hits are hard to come by.
And a hard slider down and in, and Simeon strikes out. So second strikeout for Cole Hamels. Most strikeouts in baseball from active pitchers. Cole Hamels is 7th, 2,111. CC Sabathia on top. Bartolo Colon is having a terrific season for the Mets. Maybe we just should not be surprised.
Well, you know he's happy over there because he gets to hit.
Yep.
Such a great hitter.
Cole Hamels fan. Cole Hamels this year is 7th in the American League in total strikeouts. He now has 189. So he's got an outside shot to get to 200. .94 miles an hour. Good fastball. Eibner, fly ball to right field in the first. And a high fastball struck him out. So 2 outs. How about Cole Hamels' ERA by catcher? Not great with Jonathan Lucroy, which is interesting, and doesn't necessarily mean you blame Lucroy. He just may. Well, what is happening is he's catching Hamels when Hamels is struggling.
Exactly.
Right? But Chirinos has been very good. Bobby Wilson, 11 games he has caught. But Jonathan Lucroy is a very, very good catcher. I think you always look at a guy's offensive numbers. That's just sort of what you do in baseball. But Lucroy is really good behind the plate.
Looking at the feet of Ryan Healy, and it's something catchers need to do just in case.
What are they looking at specifically when they're looking at a hitter's feet? Because you see him, almost every catcher does it.
Well, the setup really, and Cole Hamels in the first 3 innings has been pitching inside of right-handers. Well, the first thing you look at as a catcher is the hitter moving off the plate, looking for the fastball inside. Is he opening up a little bit? And at that point, you say, okay, he's looking for it. Now we go outside. But if you don't look at his feet and you stay in one pattern, hitter might adjust. And if you don't adjust as a catcher or pitcher, then all of a sudden it's going to be hit hard. And I've seen too many exactly that way. He's looking now to see if Healy's looking at his signs. You see them peek upstairs and look at them.
Healy strikes out, so Cole Hamels strikes out the side in the bottom of the 3rd. We're through 3. No score. A's and Rangers. California is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. Go out for a train ride through the Redwoods on Thomas. Come back with Percy. Some say it's a trick.
Wow.
We say it's a treat.
Whoa. I like that.
I always like Percy.
That's creative.
Percy was a little bit of a overlooked because there's so much concentration on Thomas the train.
I think you're right.
And I liked Percy. Kind of the quiet, confident type.
Yeah, we give Percy some props. That'd be good.
I watched that show.
I bet you watch a lot of shows.
I mean, watched
the
that
age
show.
Of your children right
Thomas
now.
the train. Yeah. Top of the order for the Rangers in the fourth. Kendall Graveman has gone 9 up and 9 down. Big hop to Healy, who's got it. Throws in time. A handful of scores starting to come in. The Blue Jays beat the Yankees 9-0. That game just went final. So the Blue Jays are the #1 wild card team right now.
Number 20, Ian
the Yankees
Desmond.
3 back of the second wild card team, Tigers. So the Yankees in one of those spots they probably cannot afford to lose, and they did tonight. So a series to watch, but Blue Jays trying to get themselves to the postseason for the second year in a row. A little bit high. Now that's the East. The Orioles are at home playing the Diamondbacks, and they are tied 2-2 in the 10th inning. Baltimore not going to win the division, but Baltimore has lost a grip on one of the 2 wild cards. As I look up to Ray, Detroit just beat Kansas City 8-3, and the Tigers have now started to heat up. They've won 5 in a row.
You see the Astros leading the Angels. They were trailing early, but they're a team that cannot afford to lose either.
And that's a swing. And Kendall Graveman says, I'll take it. He gets Ian Desmond for the second time.
Upstairs, not intentionally, but got the check swing and quickly down to Chris Conroy and called out, but could not hold up his swing. Clearly a strike. He knew it. Just kind of waiting to see if he was able to get a reprieve, but did not.
So Carlos Beltran goes after the first pitch. Nice big hop for Pinder, and that is 12 up and 12 down for Kendall Graveman. Moving right along. No score, bottom of the fourth. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Most home runs by any opponent. So Chris Davis has 10 against the Rangers. Brian Dozier has 11 against the Royals. Royals probably are saying they hit them all in the second half. What does he hit? 20?
Yeah.
23 in the second half? Something like that.
That's a good point. And of course, Davis against the Rangers, same division, so you play them a lot of times, 19 times. And of course, the Twins and the Royals see each other 19, been in the Central.
Yeah, they're all within the division that the guy obviously played. Mookie Betts has 9 against the Orioles. Chris Bryant 10 against the Reds. Nelson Cruz 10 against the Angels. So all those other teams, that's the way that's the way the Rangers feel about Chris Davis. Very high, but in the ballpark. Zara waits. So Davis is retired, 1 out.
Now batting first baseman.
The Cleveland Indians won tonight 10-4 at home over the White Sox. So the Indians win and the Tigers win. And I update the magic number for the Indians. It is now 3 to win the AL Central. So they could win it this weekend. First pitch to Valencia is in for a strike. So what has happened, Ray, in that wild card, the 2 wild card teams have won, the Jays and the Tigers. So all those other teams underneath, Orioles, Astros, Mariners, they just have to win now just to keep pace for today.
Yeah.
And that's always tough too when you want to win a game and have it lift you up a little bit. And now they're saying, well, we just got to win to stay in the same spot.
Pretty good spots to be in with a week to go.
Yeah.
Actually 9 games to go.
2 pitch to Valencia. He taps it just foul. So the Astros leading the Angels 6-3 in the 7th, and the Mariners leading the Twins 2-0 in the 6th. That Astros Angels, that's game 2 of a 4-game series. They played last night. Angels actually beat the Astros last night.
Rick Nolasco.
Yep.
Had a no-hitter against the A's for 7 innings, and all of a sudden it's over. And the A's won. Let's here.
Two to Valencia, who hit a fly ball to right field. His first at bat. Reaches for that one, pokes it towards shallow center, and that'll be a hit.
And a good bat on 4 pitches, and then the 5th. A soft single to center, and A's will take it. Anything they can against Cole Hamels.
Now batting the catcher.
He's got to throw his bat at the ball towards the end. It hit softly enough. Before he set up, actually, it looked like it might have been a strike, even though Valencia reached for it as much as he did to hit it towards left center.
Stephen Vogt takes the strike. With the 1-out base runner, they now have 4 hits off Cole Hamels. Missed outside. Well, with a magic number of 1 for the Rangers, unfortunately, Matthew Thalblom may not get his wish this weekend. There would have to be about 12 things that would have to go his way for the Rangers to not celebrate.
You know what, Kai, if we could look back to 2012, anything, I mean, you look what could have happened that didn't happen. So, Mikey, sorry. Sorry. I mean, it's going to happen, and if you have to deal with it, then just think back to 12 when you got the reprieve.
That's right.
Big time. So all the Rangers had to do was win 1 game, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and they're the Western Division champion. Did not happen. And they lost the wild card.
2-2 to Vogt, who struck out in the 2nd inning. 1 of 4 strikeouts for Cole Hamels. Short lead at first for Valencia, and the ball's popped up. Marlins going to give full chase this time, and he's going to run out of room, and so is Rognet Odor. Slow down, Rognet. Sometimes there's something called over hustle. Yeah. I think that was a little over hustle.
And watch Moreland right at the end as he started to go over. There's your false hustle. And then watch Moreland just kind of slap to bring him back in. Slapped his legs.
Slow down, young man.
Maybe he's looking for some popcorn or hot dog or something.
Slow down. So now full count. Smolinski to follow.
Well, Stephen Vogt struck out on a hard curveball. Slider his last at bat. That was on a 2-2 pitch. You have to think that Hamlin's going to stay away from him. LaCroix outside.
And he just missed outside. So the A's have 2 on and 1 out. So that is walk number 2. As Ray mentioned earlier, walks have been a little bit of an issue for Cole Hamels. He said that in the newspapers when we were down in Arlington last week. He said, I'm walking too many guys. And that's never really been his issue. He's had good control.
Well, he also mentioned postseason. And when you walk hitters in postseason, that deems trouble because you want to have your best pitching, your best defense in short series. You have the wild cards.
How about that?
Yeah, how about that? When you think of Cole Hamels walking 77, it's just unheard of.
Nope. He's a guy who's got good stuff in the strike zone.
So Doug Broquet, his pitching coach, trying to figure it out. Jeff Bannister, the manager.
Smolinski hits it hard right to Beltre. He's going to go to third and then throw to first on the run. Got him. What a play by Adrian Beltre. 5-3 double play, and the A's do not score. 5th inning coming up. 0-0 game.
The inaugural Fitness Sluggers program designed to educate and encourage youth to live healthy and active lifestyles. Participants competed in monthly fitness challenges with select winners earning A's game tickets and other great rewards. You can take the Fitness Sluggers pledge and download Fitness Sluggers posters by visiting athletics.com/fitness. Kind of hesitated there because I was hoping that ball was not going to be fair.
You don't want to miss anything. Not with Adrian Beltre. He's got 443 career home runs.
And he hits a lot of them from one knee.
Close pitch a bit outside to Beltre. Beltre drives this one toward right center, but it hangs up for Smolinski, who makes the catch. So that is 13 in a row retired by Kendall Graveman to start the game. You know what that means.
Now batting.
What does that mean, Kite?
Odor.
He has not allowed a hit yet. I'm not into that whole other
I'm not
thing.
either.
No, good.
I'm not either. Listen.
There's a lot of hit. It's the story. Aren't we here to tell the story?
Great Monty Moore always said, Ray, you got to tell the story. You got to let fans know exactly what's going on.
And that's exactly what's going on.
That's right. So, Monty, wherever you are, it's not your kind of game because Monty's a big offensive guy. He likes a lot of offense, but pitchers' duels are pretty good also. They're very nice. I think it makes both pitchers a lot better whenever their opposite number is pitching so well.
Yeah, that's a good call. Knocked down by Graveman. A nice play. He'll underhand to first. Odor is retired.
And that's the type of play that when the Red Sox were in town, Rodriguez lost his no-hitter with Marcus Semien, a shot that Rodriguez couldn't find. Fortunately, this time, Kendall Graveman was able to find it.
So 2 outs for Lucroy. Jonathan Lucroy lined out to Valencia. That ended the second inning. Inside corner strike. Graveman missed the target, but Jerry Meals said that's all right. It was still a strike and looked like it was. Paints the outside corner 0-2. He's got that good rock and fire going.
Yeah, he's got the movement outside. Of course, he can take a cutter slider away from the right-hander with a bring in the fastball two-seamer back to the outside corner.
So he went out there again, tried to get it to tail back a little bit. It did not. So 1-2 to Lucroy. Got him swinging good, sinking fastball at 94 miles an hour. 3 strikeouts for Kendall Graveman. 15 up and 15 down. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Sportsnet Center brought to you by Hyundai tonight at 11. And it's on our sister station, CSN Bay Area. More reaction to Caps stand, Warriors New Jerseys, and Sharks media coverage. Mindy Bach, Ahmed Fareed will host. All right. Superman's in the house. He's looking good. He's been lifting. Young man hitting the weights.
Can't throw a changeup bulked up like that.
No, that's true.
Yeah, that's tough to throw a changeup.
On the ground to Beltre, scooped up, throws, and Moreland keeps his foot on the bag. Nunez is out. One away here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Now batting, second baseman, number 18, Chad.
Over the National
Pinder.
League, with that battle for the wild card. The Cardinals lost today in Chicago. The Mets are winning. Giants just getting started. 3 teams fighting for 2 spots in the wild card. Everything else is pretty much wrapped up. Dodgers have a magic number of 4. Cubs are already in, obviously, and the Nationals won. No, Nationals are still playing. Their magic number coming into today is 2. So everything fairly decided division-wise in the National League, except for that wild card spot. 2 spots.
Well, the game in Los Angeles with the Rockies just getting underway after the ceremony for Vin Scully.
Yeah.
And I noticed up on the scoreboard copy it said R, which indicates rain in Los Angeles. Just put a D up,
Yeah.
you know.
Put a V for Vin.
V for Vin. I saw that R, so what, Los Angeles? But now a nice pregame ceremony for the great Vin Scully, who will be announcing his final weekend of baseball.
There's been some great stories written about Vin Scully in the last week. It's fun to read.
Yeah.
And that's a fair ball down the left field line. Pinder digging for second, and ball's kicked around a little bit in the corner. Pinder with a 1-out double. So another opportunity for the A's.
Well, another
Pinder has
double.
2 doubles.
Yeah, two strike doubles for Pinder. So turned on this breaking ball quickly and passed the Gold Glover at third base down in the corner, and Beltre off the line just enough, could not get to the ball. And Chad Pinder hooking the ball after hitting the ball to right center. So Cole Hamels trying to make some changes with his selection. And Chad Pinder has handled both. So that's 3 doubles really in his last 3 at bats in the pinch hit on Wednesday.
So see if Marcus Semien can knock him in. First pitch down and away. Semien has grounded out and he has struck out. So 5 hits now for the A's. The Rangers do not have a hit. Swing and a miss. There's the changeup, 85 miles an hour.
And you can watch Marcus Semien pull off just enough, getting the changeup because he thought he's getting a fastball.
Runners in scoring position. League hitting .217 against Hamels. So he came back with a fastball. So changeup at 85, fastball at 94, and you know, he's talking about it having the same arm angle. Well, he really, everything comes out exactly the same with Cole Hamels.
And you're right, even his curveball, kind of the same slot.
So 1-2. Brett Eibner is in the on-deck circle. A's have stranded 4 through the first 4 innings. Toward left, Gomez hustling in. He got a quick jump. He fires back to second. So Marcus Semien, he hit it fairly hard, but maybe off the end of the bat a little bit.
A little bit full too with a pitch down. Hit it hard, but like you said, it didn't have a chance to sink quickly enough. You know, another reason Ron Washington probably sent Nunez, if you look back in the series against the Astros in which the A's lost all 3. Runners in score position, they were 1 for 18. Yep. 1 for 10 in Wednesday's game.
And then you lose a bunch of close games, right?
Exactly. Well, this is Brett Eibner in Arlington. Pitch down and in. He adjusted and got the pitch and pulled it down the left field line. One of 2 3-run home runs the game. And Of course, the A's 7 3-run home runs in the 7-game series. Kansas City and Arlington, Texas, the Rangers.
After that high fastball, tried to hold up, couldn't do it.
It's amazing, even though he hit the home run in Arlington on the fastball in, they're staying inside with the same type of pitch. Tonight, just a little bit different, and Cap, I strongly believe this weather tonight conducive to pitching for both of them, and we're seeing what Kendall Graveman's doing, much different also for Cole Hamels.
That one inside, so 2-1 there, cooling off nicely. Although the hot weather's supposed to come back, maybe tomorrow a little bit, but Sunday's supposed to very much warm up. When we're in Anaheim, it's supposed to be in the mid-90s down south. Probably be a different story in Seattle. Final weekend.
Exactly.
Grounded to Beltre, who scoops it, and he's going to tag Pinder for the final out. So side retired, and we are headed to the 6th. No score. $15 down, 6 ground ball out, so I got a nice clean scorecard. I don't know about you.
Same for me.
It better be the same. Moreland, Mazzara, Andrus. Bottom 3. And the first pitch is a strike to Mitch Moreland, who lined out to the shortstop in the 3rd. A good power season for Moreland. 22 home runs. Not a great batting average, but dangerous hitter. Breaks his bat, grounds it towards second. Pinder on to first.
Speaking of Chad Pinder, Kai, this play probably should be made more often than this. Beltre said, why should I throw if I can tag the runner coming my way? That's the 3rd out of the inning.
Now batting,
so many times the runner goes by and the third baseman picks the ball up and he throws it. Why take the chance? Of course, you make an errant throw here. It's a run. So Beltre says, you're going to run? I'll just tag you. Sure. And I think it should be done more often than it is. But Beltre proved that that's why he's a Gold Glover and why he's been in the big leagues a long time.
So here's Nomar Mazzara. Hits it hard right to Simeon, who stays down on it and throws out Mazzara. That's a pretty well struck ball.
Now, they always saying if you're a ground ball pitcher, you hope they are at them or close to the infielders. And tonight, so far, that's happening. Down on one knee because it was hit so hard. Simeon time. And to Danny Valencia. Oops.
So 2 away for Elvis Andrus. grounded out to second in the 3rd inning. So a couple more ground ball outs here in the 6th. Right on the outside corner, called the ball. What was that?
I have no idea. I really don't. Had that 2-seamer bringing it back the outside corner.
Sinker low. Kendall Graveman not happy with either of them, especially the first one.
You know what? If you're an umpire and you see a pitcher around the plate that much, I'd say tell the hitter, swing the bat.
When he's rolling along.
Swing the bat.
Right at Simeon, who stays down again, throws in times. So Kendall Graveman, pretty awesome so far as we go to the bottom of the 6th, no score. Of baseball, it's brought to you by T-Mobile. Rookie of the Year candidates. We're going to slide Ryan Healy in there. He's only played 62 games, but he's got a 300 batting average, 11 home runs. Gary Sanchez has been unbelievable. Mazar's numbers are great. Michael Fulmer, it may be tough. He may be the front runner, the right-handed pitcher for the Tigers.
And especially if the Tigers pull out the wild card.
Yep.
Mazara started out like he was going to be unanimous. But Gary Sanchez, that is an unbelievable story. And you even listen to some of the Yankees, some of the things they're saying about their teammate, watching him make adjustments, hit everything. Ryan Healy's been impressive as well at getting a start every day at 3rd.
And Healy on an 0-1 pitch pops it to shallow right. Mazara waiting, and he's got it. So Healy 1 for 3. And that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. No score.
Now batting left fielder, number 2, Chris Davis.
All pitching so far tonight. That is the story. Well, Hamels has been very good. Couple of walks, 4 strikeouts.
Well, both these pitchers took, well, they just had to deal with the heat. And I know Kendall Graveman said that the heat got to him. It's very hot down on the field. But tonight, much different. Low 60s in the temperature, and back home where he had got to hear Sweet Home Alabama when he took the mound. So he's had a great night for 6 innings. Try to keep it going.
One pitch to Chris Davis, just a little bit inside. 1-1. Cole Hamels has not had, I take that back, he has had 1 3-up, 3-down inning. He struck out the side in the 3rd. The A's have had some base runners against him. Good swing by Chris Davis.
He's had some pitches to hit tonight, and just to foul him back. And maybe that's just the 3 days off, the inactivity. As we talk often about the importance of playing every day in this game because of timing. And I mean, you look at that swing and several that he's had tonight. Walked in the first inning on a 3-2 breaking ball, but flew out to right field, fouled some balls back, just missing them.
1-2 pitch is well in the dirt. Lucroy somehow blocked it.
Well, great movement by Lucroy. Hard to his left. Yeah, he's not that big. He's still very mobile behind the plate. And he's showing the mobility tonight. Actually took a strikeout, one of the 3 back in the 3rd inning. Pitch down and in. Caught it, tagged, same time.
Good swing again by Davis. Davis walked in the 1st, hit a fly ball to right field in the 4th. Diamondbacks and the Orioles still playing in Baltimore. It's 2-2 in the 12th. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. 2 outs here in the 6th.
It's going to stay in there. Get used to it. Right-handed hitters, and Cole Hamels living inside. Chris didn't think it was a strike, but Lucroy on the inside target. Corner and
first baseman, number 26, Danny Valencia.
Chris thought it was in, might have been just off the plate.
So with 2 outs, Valencia steps up. He had a base hit in the 4th. Fly ball to right in the 1st. Field defense plays Valencia pretty straight up. Outfield pulled a little bit toward right center. We've seen teams play Valencia to pull in the infield.
Everybody seems to be different, doesn't it? It's amazing.
It is.
I think it just, some teams say we're going to shift no matter whether we know you're not.
Yeah, it is kind of strange.
Can you say Joey Wendell, Major League debut? There's the shift. Still, that's the hardest for me to believe. Well, they've got some information to the minor leagues. Wow. I think what we're going to see in baseball in the future is that pitchers almost being demanded to pitch according to the shift.
Oh yeah, you would, if it's going to work, that certainly would help.
You would think that, but I think hitters are going to make adjustments also whenever they see the shift and how they're being pitched and what hitters and pitchers are expected to think they're going to be doing.
Well, Hamels paints the outside corner and he gets a couple of strikeouts in the 6th. 7th inning coming up.
And it's time for the
The play of the game, Kendall Graveman has been perfect. If you don't believe me, look at the numbers. 6 innings. He's faced 18 batters, and he's retired all. And he has done it in a number of ways, including ground balls, including fly balls, strikeouts, and just continues to deal against the Texas Rangers. However, his offense has not scored in many runs. So Kendall Graveman looking for win number 11. Season high, or at least a team high, 10 games in the win column for Kendall Graveman.
And rolling along tonight. Rolling along. That would be an understatement. Perfect through 6 innings as he faces the top of the order for the Rangers. Gomez, Desmond, and Beltran. No walks, 3 strikeouts for Graveman. Big bouncer. Simeon has it. Throws across and not in time, and that will be the first hit of the game for the Rangers. Once it bounced over Healy's head, there was no way the A's were going to get the speedy Carlos Gomez. That's how we feel too.
That's exactly how we feel. But Kendall Graveman, 9 ground ball outs through 6 innings, and he gets the ground ball out. Or ground ball. He gets over the head of his third baseman, and that's it.
Now batting.
And this high chopper, and of course always aggressive, is Carlos Gomez. And Kendall Graveman tried, no chance. Gino Capra looked out as Kendall Graveman was taking his warm-up tosses. And I always think of the guy that really he talked to, Kendall Graveman talked to, and that is Greg Maddux. Maddux always took his warm-up tosses out of the stretch. Figured that's going to be the most critical. This is the first time he's pitched out of the stretch tonight. He took some warm-up tosses before this inning.
Facing Ian Desmond. And you have to keep an eye on Gomez. He got 17 steals in 21 attempts, so an opportunity there. If Gomez decides to go, he's got a pretty good lead, and he runs, and the ball's hit into right field, and that's a base hit. Gomez around second, he'll go to third, and now the Rangers are in business. First and third, nobody out here in the top of the 7th.
Well, how many times you see a manager who'll say my hitter struggled a little bit. Desmond struck out twice, but the hit and run on forced him to swing, make contact, movement, ball to the right side, and couldn't have been more perfect for a guy who hits so well to the opposite field. Just past Valencia, and once that happened with Gomez on the move, first and third easy for the Rangers.
Now batting.
So now it's Beltran, and then Beltre, and then Odor. So tough task here for Graveman to try to keep the Rangers off the board.
He wants second baseman Pinner to come in, and they figure Beltran is going to make contact. Graveman's a sinker ball pitcher, try to get a ground ball and try to prevent a run from scoring. I think this right here, Kemp, where the manager is saying Cole Hamels is pitching well. This is a game that may be decided by 1 run, a close game.
Yep.
It's rare that you bring the infield in, nobody out, but they're trying to do it to cut down the runner at third in Gomez.
0-1 pitch, a little bit outside, so 1-1. Beltran has grounded to short and grounded to second. He's got 91 RBIs combined with the Yankees and the Rangers.
Now I have seen a double play turn with this setup, and that's with first and third, and ground ball hit hard enough up the middle to one of the infielders. You freeze the runner at third and go for 2 and seen it done.
One pitch, bounce toward first, and no play at home as Gomez comes in to score. Valencia thought about it, but I do not think they were going to get Carlos Gomez. So Valencia, I think he did the right thing. It's going to be an RBI ground out for Beltran, and the Rangers take a 1-0 lead.
Well, the only thing he could have done is not throw there. He's trying to reach back, see how close he was to the bag, maybe touch the bag, then throw to the plate. But at that point, with Gomez going on contact, and there's no way really they were going to double up anybody with that softly hit ball.
So now a runner at second, a run in with 1 out. Here's Adrian Beltran. Beltre deep to left, and the Rangers lead 3-0.
You don't hit it. Throw him a hanging breaking ball, and he gets his 100 runs batted in with a 2-run home run. And a hard one for Kendall Graveman to take on this. Perfect through 6. Single, 3 unassisted, and a hanging breaking ball. And go.
Now batting.
He's done that a lot. He's done a lot against the A's here at the Coliseum. And this one was gone in a heartbeat. 3-0.
So career home run number 444. And a bunch against the A's.
That's right.
He does not like that when he touches it. It's a theatrical bunch. We've come to see that from the Rangers.
Prince Fielder.
Right, in the house. 31 homers and 100 RBIs for Carlos Beltran. Odor drives into right center. That's hit pretty well. Eibner near the wall, and Eibner makes the catch for the second out. So for Beltran against the Athletics, 37 home runs now. Alex Rodriguez has the most, and Rafael Palmeiro,
number 25, Jonathan.
Well, he would advance quickly up the list because A-Rod is finished. Palmeiro's done. Evans, Ramirez, Teixeira's retiring after this year. And we'll not see any of those guys here for sure this year. Teixeira's already finished. Beltran's not. We'll have to see him for a few more.
It's his 5th home run this year against the Athletics. In for strike to Jonathan Lucroy.
Well, I could think of the Grand Slam in Texas and Arlington. That's Ross Detweiler.
Drive, and that's a base hit center field. Jonathan Lucroy gets the 4th hit in the inning for the Rangers. How can you explain that, right? No hits through 6 innings, 4 hits in the span of 6 hitters.
Now
that pitch, you can understand the breaking ball to Beltran hit for home run in the same location. But if you look at the first 3 hitters, we talk about being a ground ball pitcher, which Grayman is. Gomez, hard grounder over Healy. Ground ball by Desmond just past Valencia. Ground ball by Beltran. So really 3 ground balls in this inning, first 3 batters. In the first 6 they were outs. But tonight resulted up to a run score.
Moreland taps one towards Simeon to first, side retired. So damage done by the Texas Rangers. Disappointing for Kendall Graveman. Rangers lead 3-0. to you by McDonald's. On this day, 2003, Ray, remember this?
Yep.
Versus the Rangers here at the Coliseum. Adam Miller's walk-off single with 2 outs in the 10th inning. Now the A's would then wait till the Angels' Tim Salmon walked off against the Mariners, and the A's would clinch the division in 2003. 2003. So that was the 4th straight trip to the postseason.
Unfortunately, Game 5 again.
So Cole Hamels now with a 3-0 lead as he faces Vogt, Smolinski, and Nunez. So shutdown inning opportunity for Cole Hamels, a little bit below the league average. Good swing by Vogt, but it's 0-2.
Cole Hamels is very good, but I think this pitching matchup tonight, you're watching 2 pitchers, of course, the veteran in Hamels, Kendall Graveman, pitched great. And for 6 innings, they were going head to head. And I think it's just simply, I'm going to do the same as you.
That's Stephen Vogt with a base hit. So Vogt just went the other way.
Well, they stayed away from him all night. That's the perfect thing to do.
Now batting right fielder, number 5.
Fastball away. Base hit,
Smolinski.
left field. Fastball up a little bit. The shift. Hit it right where Elvis Andrus would have been playing.
So a leadoff man aboard. Smolinski will hit. Smolinski has grounded out twice, once into a double play. So big doings down in Houston, Ray. The Houston Astros had a 6-4 lead going to the top of the 9th inning. The Angels got a 2-run homer by Escobar to tie it, and then Crone knocked in a run, and the Angels now have the lead 7-6. A loss like that at this time of year in a pennant race is devastating.
Yes.
Astros will still get to bat, but again, they had a 6-4 lead going to the 9th. Smolinski had a good rip that time. On the other hand, the Mariners are leading the Twins 10-1 now in the 8th inning. So the Mariners trying to keep track, and so far they are doing that. But the Astros will need some heroics. 2-1 pitch is lined to foul. Smolinski out in front.
A lot of confidence in Scotty. They just say, I'm just going to sit here, not going to bother to move. And
well, the thing right now, Ray, is that's a tough man right there.
yeah, and I think that's all planned. Nobody moves.
He's more confident than I would be.
But he saw a number of hops, number of bounces, figured it was not going to be incoming very hot.
But you got to remember too, Ray, that there is a pitcher warming up.
Yeah.
And Scotty likes to keep an eye on the pitcher to make sure his stuff looks good.
That's good, yeah. So he
just kind of let Bob know when it's time to bring him in.
Yeah, disregards all the guys sitting on the bench. That's a great shot. Acts up on top of the mound, about 8 feet tall. In Emo. Scotty's got it all figured out, though. He's right there.
So 3-2. Nunez will be next. Toward Beltre, he scoops it up, fires the second for one. Odor on the turn, got it. 5-4-3 on the double play. Give Odor some credit as Beltre threw him a sinker, and that was not an easy turn for the young second baseman.
Now Beltre turned a 5-3 last a couple of innings ago, and you're right. There's a sinker, but Odor goes down and stays underneath and makes a quick throw to the first baseman, getting Smolinski. Orland, a nice stretch ball in the pocket.
So that's the second double play that the Rangers have turned. Remember, they also threw a runner out at the plate. Nunez with a big swing. That runner was Nunez back in the second inning. He had a 2-out hit, and then Pinder hit one toward the gap in right center. Nunez, a nice relay throw, was cut down. Hamels looks a lot better tonight, doesn't he?
Yes,
I know the
does, yeah.
numbers are obviously showing up, but he just has his good rhythm. Yeah. All his pitches seem to be working. It's just a whole different feel to his game.
Well, I was told that whenever he pitches his best is when he stands in the mound, gets a sign, and goes.
Well, he's doing that tonight.
Exactly. But when he starts to think a little bit too much, then that's when it kind of slows down the pace. So Doug Brocail working with him, knowing the importance of this man in postseason. But you're right. He cut 0-0 for 6 innings with Kendall Graveman. Saw his club score 3, and now he's just turning on the afterburners. And maybe his last inning, over 100 pitches. Bullpen, a couple of guys loosening, as is Axford in the A's bullpen.
Oh, 2 pitch. Hit foul. Crowd tonight, 26,367 in the building. Claudio, the lefty. Kella, the righty. Hamels at 104 pitches, so this is probably his last inning. That last start against the A's, when he was not sharp, he threw 96 pitches. So he really has not had a huge pitch count inning. Pretty consistent. Another 0-2 pitch. And again, a foul ball. Right near the same spot. Just a good look at the crowd. It's a nice one tonight. Fireworks after the game.
Turned out to be a lot better than at least it looked at the beginning of the game.
Hamels came down and in on Nunez. Just looking at Hamels' pitch high this year, 123 is what it is.
Is it a road game?
Well, that's a fair question, and I know why you're asking, because he was versus the Kansas City Royals.
April?
You're trying. July.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
It was a nice night in Arlington. So Nunez ends up striking out, and the double play helps Cole Hamels, and we are moving to the 8th. Rangers 3, A's nothing.
homestand. It will be Sunday. You could commemorate the 2016 season with your own Oakland Athletics team photos presented by Zevia, the zero-calorie soda, on Sunday, September the 25th. That's day after tomorrow. A's versus these Rangers game. 10,000 fans go home with a 2016 team photos. Perfect souvenir for your home or your office. For information and tickets, at athletics.com/tickets.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. So John Axford comes in here in the top of the 8th inning, facing Mazzara, Andrus, and then the leadoff man, Carlos Gomez. Ray, the Angels weren't done. Like, they're still batting. It's now 10-6. Angels lead the Astros. So that has become a 6-run 9th inning. On the ground, Tort Pinder, who takes care of it. So 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. Frustrating for Kendall Graveman. He was perfect through 6 innings.
Number 1, Elvis.
And not long after that, he walks off the mound, losing or trailing 3-0. So he ends up 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. So all in all, it's a very good outing.
It's called a quality start, right?
Yeah.
7. It's actually 6 in 3 or less, but not exactly what he wanted, considering he was perfect for 6 innings.
Axford knocks it down, picks it up, throws low to first. Valencia has it. Andrus is retired. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning.
Number 14.
And now the leadoff man, Carlos Gomez. Gomez got the first hit off Graveman. It was a high chopper in the hole at short. Matt Bush starts to throw, so Hamels' night is probably done. And if it is, he was very good. Big curve. Gomez then scored on Beltran's ground out. Valencia hustling over. And he reaches out. Did he hang on? I believe he did. Enemy territory, and Danny Valencia grabbed it, and he just hung on. So a very nice play by Valencia to end the top of the 8th inning, and worth another look. All right, game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 3-4-0 for the Rangers, 0-6-0 for the Athletics. Hamels and Graveman both good tonight, but Kendall Graveman Gave up 3 runs and 4 hits in that 7th inning. Pinder a couple of doubles. And Beltre gets to the 100 RBI mark thanks to his 2-run homer in that 7th inning. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair expert. So it's the hard-throwing Matt Bush who takes over here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Cole Hamels, 7 shutout innings. The new right fielder is Jared Hoying. So Hoying takes over in right. Mazzara out. Danny Valencia right in front of the dugout.
No help from the Rangers as he got near there, put his glove out, found the ball in the glove, and the guys say, hey, nice catch after the fact because they got a 3-1 lead. They're going to win the division, so they've got reason to be happy, even though nice play was made by Valencia.
98 miles an hour. All the Rangers have to do is win tonight, and they will be the AL Western Division champions. So they will celebrate tonight if they can hang on to this 3-0 lead. Pinder checked his swing. It bounces off the catcher's glove. Red Sox won tonight. Their magic number is down to 4 to win the AL East. Indians' magic number is down to 3. Two and 2 to Pinder, who has doubled twice. Good swing there on a fastball that was in at 99 miles an hour. Beltre waits for the hop, gets it, throws. Pinder's out. So one away here in the bottom of the 8th inning. In-depth Raiders coverage every single night, and the home of the official post-game show of the team. Sunday to Sunday, the home of the authentic Raiders fan is CSN. Raiders will be in Tennessee to take on the Titans this Sunday. A win and a loss. Plenty of offense, not enough defense in the first 2 games of the season for the Silver and Black. A 1-1 to Marcus Semien, who has grounded out, struck out, and lined out.
Hey, but Clay Wood's happy. Not until the 9th. I think he said the 9th is when they play.
So got a little time. I think a couple of, maybe 2 straight road games for the Raiders.
Well, after what he did to get ready for the Red Sox, the Astros, a couple of times he had to turn it around quickly. Did a good job, as always.
And that's a swing. So Marcus Semien spins around, heads back to the dugout. Tried to hold up, could not do it.
Marcus trying, but that is a swing.
Now batting center fielder, number 39, Brett Eibner.
Pretty much everybody.
So 2 outs for Brett Eibner. Eibner has hit a fly ball to right field. He has struck out, and he has grounded out. He's have 6 hits.
You see why Ron Washington tried to push the envelope a little bit earlier and score with 2 outs. He's trying to get on the board. Did not happen. Wash in the dugout of the Rangers back-to-back years, watching his team celebrate back-to-back years to the World Series.
the corner. First strike. Last year the Rangers won 88 games. Won the division, but they won the division by just 2 games over the Astros. Running away with it this year. Two pitches high. So the Angels ended up winning that game 10-6, and that is a crushing loss for the Houston Astros.
Well, back-to-back last night and tonight already.
So it was 6-4 going to the top of the 9th inning, and the Angels scored 6 times. Whew, man. You can almost feel it from here. I mean, that's just,
well,
you can't lose a game like that with a week left.
Well, and not only that, how many times, well, at least the A's know how many times they came back to beat Phil, but then this time could not hang on with that lead.
So a couple of strikeouts for Bush, and we are going to the 9th. 3-0 Texas.
The ticket memberships are on sale now. Whether you want to renew your membership or join the party, you can visit athletics.com/2017. You'll find all the benefits that A's membership has to offer, including early bird incentives, exclusive experiences, half-price parking, flexible ticket exchange program, and more. You can even lock in your 2017 seating location. Visit athletics.com/2017. Join the party right now, Joe, today.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts. So the Rangers leading 3-0 as Chris Smith comes in for the top of the 9th inning. The change-up as Desmond swings and misses. Appearance number 12 for Chris Smith, and he's done a nice job. 26 strikeouts in 21 innings for Smith. Not have a win or loss. Keeps throwing that one to Desmond, and Desmond keeps swinging at it. Well, the Rangers 3 outs away from a trip to the postseason. This is their 45th year as the Texas Rangers, and they've been to the postseason 7 times. Trying to make it 8.
Looking for the elusive ring.
Yep. Do not have one. So 3-2 the count to Ian Desmond. Beltran to follow, and then Beltre. Smith grabs it on a nice play. Sounded like that one was off the end of the bat. Hey, join us tonight, A's Post Game Live. It's the A-Team, and we got a special guest. It's not Vince Cotroneo, it's not Ray Foss, it's not myself, it's Chris Townsend. See him up there, gentleman on the right, filling in tonight, and Townie's going to join us for the A-Team. Well, that should be fun, as he is Mr. Unscripted.
Right there he is.
That's right. So we'll look forward to hearing from Townie.
He's got his computer. It's not scripted, Townie. You cannot write it out.
Well, Vince writes it out, but that's beside the point. See if we can get him to smile. Well, that's not happening. We like to smile and laugh in here once in a while.
That's right. Come on, guys. Loosen up a little bit.
It's only game 153.
Chris Smith, I mean, like for him to be 1,053 because he loves it.
Ain't that the truth?
He's having a great time. This is what baseball is all about. Chris Smith.
Yeah, Chris Smith, I think, would like this season to go on for a while. And again, he has done a nice job.
Yes, he has.
Hooked foul.
The changeup.
He likes to throw that changeup.
Yes, he does.
Keep throwing it. That's the closer for the Texas Rangers, Sam Dyson. Three-two pitch again, foul ball, second level. Graveman for 7, Axford with an inning. Dad of the year right there. Carlos Beltran with the walk. Hey, you make 2 kids happy. That's good.
Well, the hanging breaking ball. Kendall Graveman's going to think about this one, and he knew it. Tried to get it down and away, left it up, and Adrian Beltre, 31 and 100, 2 runs batted in, giving him 100 on the season.
That's since 2010, 28 home runs. Beltre doing his thing. That's the pinch runner, Delino to Shields. He's in there for Carlos Beltran. In the air to center. Eibner waiting. He's got it.
Chris Smith can say, I threw Adrian Beltre a change up and he popped it up.
Change for Texas.
Just a pop up from the future Hall of Famer.
Number 3, Delino to Shields.
Says his buddies call him, text him and say, hey, you finished the game. Say, yeah.
Number 12,
and now he's going to probably text him and say, you threw Adrian Beltre a change up and he swung so hard, hit it straight up. Got him out. Looks like Jack Kuiper with a flat bill cap.
That's right, flat bill, yeah. Here's Odor, and the first pitch is hit hard to Valencia, who knocks it down, picks it up, shovels to Smith, and Smith gets to the bag. Is he okay? I think he jammed his knee a little bit, but he's going to trot off, and nicely done by first baseman and pitcher. Bottom of the ninth coming up, last shot for the A's.
Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
Well, those youngsters are having a good time.
For the Athletic, third baseman.
And the Rangers are hoping that they're about to have a good time. They're 3 outs away from a division title. And Sam Dyson comes in. He's the closer. Save opportunity. 35 saves in 40 attempts. And appearance number 71. So Healy to lead it off, and the first pitch just a little bit low. Healy, Davis, and Valencia against Dyson. Strike on the outside corner. Healy singled in the first, struck out in the third, and in the sixth hit a fly ball to right field. He's with 6 hits in the game. The Rangers with 4. All 4 came in the same inning. And that was the 7th.
That's it. Yep. It's like the A's against the Astros. Musgrove, they got 2 hits in the first 9 innings. 2 singles, beating the shift both times.
One pitch low, and now 3-1. He's trying to get a couple of base runners, get something going. Like Jonathan Lucroy caught that one a little bit.
Yes, he did, and although stayed down a little bit, and he had to give him a little bit extra time, as is Jerry Meals,
and that's appreciated.
Yep.
Strike, 3-2.
It's a good take for Ryan Healy. The A's need base runners, and I always like to see that, especially from a youngster who could be thinking, I'm going to get a fastball 3-1. Well, it's going to get another one, you'd think 3-2. Let's get base runners.
Payoff pitch, got him swinging. 95 miles an hour, close pitch toward the outside corner. So 1 out here in the 9th inning.
Well, the 3-1 was perfect. The 3-2 maybe a little bit down out of the strike zone, but a pitcher's pitch too close to take. The hitters always say, I'd rather determine the at bat myself instead of put it in the hands of the umpire.
That's true. That was close. Yeah. So the A's have struck out 10 times tonight. They've received a couple of walks. First pitch to Chris Davis. Slider outside. Davis has walked, hit a fly ball to right, and struck out. Thinking the other night about the season Chris Davis had and how he got off to a slow start. Remember, too, Ray, he banged his shoulder, and his shoulder was bothering him for a fair amount of time. He ran into the wall. And,
well, then he got drilled on the left elbow twice.
Yeah, and he got hit on the elbow. And he never did say much, but I think that was probably bothering him for a while. Grounded to short. And Elvis Andrus hit hard, but that is out number 2. So the Rangers 1 out away from winning the AL West.
Now batting first baseman, number 26, Danny Valencia.
So with 2 outs, Danny Valencia will step up. Shin-Soo Choo, who the Rangers still think that they could get him back at some point in the postseason. First pitch to Valencia, down and away. Prince Fielder says, I'm traveling with these guys. You know, Prince Fielder retired.
There's somebody behind Prince had a camera on his hat. Did you see that?
GoPro. Interesting. Andrus cannot get it in. Valencia extends the game with a 2-out base hit right up the middle. So hit number 7. And now Stephen Vogt will get a swing.
And Andrus couldn't get to it. Leaves his feet. Not going to throw out Valencia anyway. And just could not reach it.
Now batting the catcher, number 21, Stephen.
What is that?
Okay. It's a GoPro camera. He's set. He's going to get everything.
Thought he's a minor. The hat, the light on his, yeah.
Valencia's going to take off and get to second.
Amazingly, on Wednesday, the indifference on a walk ended up scoring on an error by Altuve, put in the tying run at the first base. Alcantara thrown out by Jason Castro. That was a good series for the Astros, but not so good now against the Angels at home.
One 1-0 to Stephen Vogt. 2-0 to Stephen Vogt. The Seattle Mariners just won their game, 10-1 final in Minnesota. So 2-0 the count to Vogt, who has struck out, walked, and singled. 3-0. He's trying to get that tying run to the plate. Smolinski on deck. That's Yonder Alonso. He's out there for Smolinski.
Well, it's 3-0, and Dyson just shook off a whole bunch of pitchers, and you'd think it's just going to be a fastball.
And it is, and it's just a little bit low. So the A's have 2 on 2 out here in the ninth. Jeff Bannister trots out.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen, for the athletic batting.
So Jeff Bannister said 0 words, and now he heads back to the dugout.
Yonder Alonso.
So Yonder Alonso will hit. So Alonso hitting for Smolinski.
Only in a 3-run walk-off against Pat Neshek way back at the beginning of the season. Could he be so fortunate to do it again in a tie game?
Had a good swing that time.
I can remember the game against the Tampa Bay Rays on a fireworks night. The A's were down. Smolinski with a home run off Colome, and then Ryan Healy with a walk-off, and it looked like it's going to be a loss. The A's won. What a story this would be. A.J. Griffin, a Ranger.
Pitches outside to Alonso. Done a good job for the Rangers.
And I would think for A.J. this has to be a special season for him to be with the Rangers, and especially on the threshold of winning a division.
A little bit low. He's making Dyson work. 96, but out of the strike zone. Got the first two hitters, and then Valencia bounced one into center field, and Vogt walked.
Oh, this story. Get Alonso on the Nunez at a walk-off slam. Oh, wow, man. Would that be great?
Tap toward Odor. He's got it. He'll flip to Andrus. And the Texas Rangers have won the game, and they have won the American League's Western Division title by winning tonight's game 3-0. So congratulations to the Texas Rangers for the second year in a row. They are division champs, and they deserve it.
Yep.
They're a very, very good team, and really they got off to a good start this year. They struggled in July, but a strong August, strong month of September, and they are rolling along, Ray.
Yeah, they just maintained it in a division that a lot of people thought maybe the Astros, coming off what they did last year, going to postseason for the first time, and the Rangers, of course, coming from out of nowhere in the middle of the season to win the division, and then they lost to Toronto, but they have the home field advantage, at least they have the division and probably the home field advantage. And if that is the case, maybe it would be a different story for them this year than it was last year in Toronto.
So the clinch happens. Game number 154 for the Rangers, and they are headed to the postseason for the 5th time in the last 7 years. And they're hoping this is the year where they get their first World Series championship. So the Rangers are the class of the AL West again this year, as they are now 91-63 and clinging to that best record in the American League. So the Rangers will celebrate. They're doing it on the field right now. They'll head back into the clubhouse and have themselves a little champagne party. So 2 hours and 19 minutes was time of game tonight. 26,367 saw it. And the Texas Rangers, with their win, are champs in the division. The final score tonight, the Rangers 3 and the A's 0. You've been watching A's Baseball on CSN California. It's all part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Post Game Live with Brody and Pitt starts right now.
For Texas,